adding games. We're talking NCAA too.
Well, and that change, we all knew this was coming. The NCAA adding teams to March Madness, both men's and women's. They're not going to go from 68 teams to 76. Again, not official, but looks like this is the way that we're going. It has been discussed ad nauseum for years now, and now it sounds like they're finally at the point where they're going to make this happen. They are going to expand the tournament to 76 teams, which we don't have real hard details on exactly how they're going to do it yet.
Right.
But it's not hard to surmise it probably looks like a bunch more play-in games on Tuesday and Wednesday to end up at the 64-team bracket.
Terrible. Awful. Hate it so much.
So not a fan.
This is awful.
What gave it away?
I agree with Jonah. This is absolutely awful.
So bad.
We don't
it's all just for money. It's just for profit. And they're not what the way they're marketing it as, it's not to make more money on TV revenue. It's so more power conferences can get at-large bids.
Exactly.
Which is arguably worse.
Yeah.
Why do you play a whole regular season? Why do you have conference tournaments? Just to add like 12 more teams to a tournament just because they're a power conference and spend a bunch of money?
This is the issue with college basketball.
Right.
It is a 4-week sport for most of the audience. There are some sickos out there, and I'm not full-on sicko the way that I was as a kid.
I used to be when it was good.
You and I were both this way, I think, growing up. Shoot, November, I'm flipping on college basketball, and let's go. I'm not to that level anymore. I'm still tuning in earlier than most. I'm probably
right after
early
Cowboy
February. Well, the Cowboys don't go to early February. Let's be real.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying January. I was trying to give you some benefit of that.
No, it's not January though. Like for me, college basketball season starts when Duke and Carolina play for the first time.
Right.
That's the moment where I'm like, oh right, okay, here we go.
He's
college
written that
basketball
script about 5 times, I think.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Once they start their in-conference schedule, it starts to ramp up.
Yeah.
But at what point do you just start inviting everybody? Like
that's exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I made this point in our group chat when we were talking about this. To me, it feels a lot like the bowl games in college football, where there's so many of them now that it takes away the specialness of the achievement of getting there.
I agree.
That's a whole different.
There is a different delineating factor in that there is a college football playoff that is decidedly more important in how we evaluate team success during a regular season. That is just devalued what bowl games stand for in general.
All other bowl games are just glorified participation trophies.
Correct.
And the other thing with that, though, is just looking at it from a scale perspective. When you've got the college football playoff and 35 bowls or something like that, you've got 70 teams playing a postseason game out of 121 in all of college football, Division I, FBS college football.
When sub-500 teams are playing in a bowl game, that's part of the issue.
In NCAA basketball, 76 feels wrong because we're so used to 64. And believe me, I wish we could just go back to 64. But 76 out of 365 is still a relatively fairly represent. I mean, just look at the professional leagues. You've got 16 out of 30 NBA teams making the postseason. You've got 76 of 365. That is still a rather, elite's too strong a word, but it is a rather exclusive collection of teams that make the postseason.
So, but here's my follow-up question, though.
The real postseason. The NIT and the CBI and all that stuff doesn't count.
Sure. We're rewarding the bigger conferences, though.
Right.
And this is not the...
And they're already being rewarded through NIL and transfer portal.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But this is not branded as, hey, the college basketball tournament. This is March Madness. We watch it not... And I'm sorry because I've had this discussion with Mike about 1,000 times in different order. But to some degree, I don't watch it to see the number one team succeed. I watch it to see what happens in the earlier rounds and see the schools that I don't have a chance to watch. I'm always going to see Duke UNC. That happens twice a year. It usually gets a bunch of press. I want to see Wichita State. I want to see Davidson. I want to see these teams that don't get a lot of press actually have success and go on runs. It's called March Madness for a reason. And all you're doing by expanding the field is adding more big-name teams that have a better chance of knocking those Cinderella stories out.
Right, but expanding the tournament isn't what's killing Cinderella. It's the NIL of it all.
I agree with that, but
this
adds
Cinderella.
to it. This adds to it, though. It gives them another chance to not make it through the bracket, when half the reason why we watch these things are to see the 15 seed. If you're going to put Lehigh up against whoever was the 13 seed out of the Big Ten, I think most people would probably still take the Big Ten team in that scenario.
The problem is we all like the NCAA tournament. We love the 64-team bracket. It is popular because of the fact that it is this 64-team bracket that fits on one piece of paper that everybody can pass around the office and be a part of the office pool. That is part of why this has had so much success for so long. And if we want for this to continue, this is unfortunately where the NCAA has to acquiesce to these power conference teams that you're talking about. If you want Cinderella as a concept to continue, even though their odds may get smaller to succeed, this is the step that I think the NCAA has to take, because all that they're trying to do by making this move is say, okay, fine, we'll give you what you want. We'll give you what you want. Please don't just run away and hide from us entirely and leave the NCAA altogether, which is a point that we're probably getting to eventually anyway.
Where?
Do their own thing altogether.
Yeah, like a
completely section themselves off 100%.
She's skeptical
from the NCAA.
But if they have the money, they have all the television
money and
rights.
all the power.
That's where it goes.
That's what super conferences are.
Yes.
That's where we're heading.
Going there with basketball. We're going there with football. And it's going
I understand.
To be,
yes, absolutely.
It is going to be the death of college sports otherwise, because those things as money-making ventures that support the entire rest of the collegiate athletic system. The system's been broken for a while, but it's at some point we are heading for a giant collegiate athletic schism, and it's going to be a really, really dark day for all of the other sports that aren't football and basketball.
Anything for our stakeholders, though, right? For profits, for margins.
Yeah.
How much is private equity playing a role in all of this? I do wonder.
I'm laughing because it's great dark comedy, but go ahead.
It really does absolutely reek of these conferences coming together and saying, hey, we want our name more in the spotlight, even if it's just a play-in game. Find a way to make it happen.
This feels like the tail wagging the dog.
It absolutely is.
Yeah,
100%. Because the NCAA probably can't survive the way it is without the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12, or whatever.
Nobody is talking
without
about
the power conferences.
Nobody is talking about who's really behind this, which is big paper.
Shutterstock. Dunder Mifflin is rolling right now.
Dunder Mifflin.
This bracket fits on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and if you expand the bracket, you need a bigger piece of paper.
Big paper is, they've seen their margins drop considerably since.
Wait, the margins are how thick?
Exactly.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, with the boom of tech, we've seen the paper industry.
You just gotta lean in.
We have gone.
Put it up on a tee.
And somewhere there's a warehouse of legal size paper just waiting for this expansion.
Get a 2-sided printer. That's how this is about to happen.